Well, let me begin with the double suicide in Haryana. Really come as a shocker here. Two suicides in just a span of barely a week. Haryana is on the edge as two officers, have allegedly committed suicide. And many questions now being raised on the rot within the Haryana police force. First was IPS officer Puran Kumar. He allegedly died by suicide, leaving behind allegations of caste-based harassment. In his suicide note, he said that he was harassed because of his caste, and that the seniors really cornered him, did not give him leave, really harassed him mentally, and finally had to take the extreme step. And while you have the opposition slamming the police force and the government in Haryana, here you have another cop within the Haryana police force, and this time as part of the cyber cell, ASI Sandeep Kumar, who's allegedly taken his life, accusing the same officer, Puran Kumar, of corruption and manipulation. In fact, this is the ASI Sandeep Latar, who claimed his life and left a note behind, as well as a video bite, as well as a written note where he accuses the deceased Puran Kumar, claiming that he was so corrupt and that the family itself is so corrupt, and just because he wants to shed light on how corrupt Puran was and wants investigation to be carried out on Puran's family now, he's going to sacrifice his life. Of course, sounds bizarre, but yet at the same time, it's now incumbent on the police of Haryana to get to the bottom of this. Two people who've died allegedly by suicide, one claiming a corrupt system, the other claiming that the man itself who died was corrupt. Let me take you through the second ASI who claims that Puran was corrupt and that his family should be investigated. This is what he said before he died.
इनकी भ्रष्टाचार की जड़ें बहुत गहरी हैं। जो दरखास्त इनके खिलाफ कंप्लेंट हुई थी, उसी भ्रष्टाचार से डर के इसने सुसाइड कराया। इसने अपने परिवार को सबको बचाने के लिए सुसाइड की है।
Now, two men, both from the same force, both claiming injustice, but standing on the opposite sides of the same story. Well, tensions now escalating in the meantime in Rohtak as Sandeep Kumar, the ASI who allegedly died by suicide, refused to hand over, his family refused to hand over his body to the police, and they took it to their village in Ladhot. They said that we are not going to hand over his body yet until the family of Puran Kumar is not investigated and until Puran Kumar's wife is not arrested. In fact, the family accuses the late IPS officer Puran Kumar, his wife, of abetment to suicide, vowing not to perform the last rites of ASI Sandeep until her arrest. So this has certainly become murky and a lot for the authorities there to explain. A dispute even broke out, we hear, between the Haryana police and the villagers as the family blocked post-mortem proceedings of ASI Sandeep, insisting that Sandeep was forced to die. If we could have Sandeep's visuals play out, and there you have it, where the cops are requesting the family members of ASI Sandeep to hand over his body, but they refuse to do it, saying until you arrest Puran Kumar's wife, we will not hand over ASI Sandeep Latar's body for post-mortem. Now, of course, serious allegations here being levelled by Sandeep against late Puran Kumar, accusing him of corruption, of caste-based politics, of manipulation. And in fact, Sandeep says that he and many other officers were so corrupt that it's incumbent on me to ensure that the system is cleaned up. And I'm willing to sacrifice my life, and therefore I am. And that's what happened. Sandeep wrote that letter and also said that he fears he will be arrested, demanding a fair investigation, stating, through my sacrifice, this corrupt family, which is Puran Kumar's corrupt family, must not be spared. Now, the incident, of course, has raised a lot of questions. Political leaders now jumping in. Of course, when Officer Puran Kumar allegedly killed himself, you had Rahul Gandhi visiting his family, and you also had Union Minister Chirag Paswan, who visited his family. And all of them raised several questions, saying that this is shameful, it's a blot on the system within the police department itself. And now with ASI Sandeep also allegedly claiming his life, this has taken a whole new twist and turn. So wonder where and what course this investigation is going to take. But I'm going to take you through some of the leaders who spoke, political leaders raising questions within Haryana's police department.
ये सिर्फ एक परिवार का मामला नहीं है। देश में करोड़ों दलित भाई बहन हैं, उनको गलत मैसेज जा रहा है। क्या मैसेज जा रहा है? कि आप कितने भी सक्सेसफुल हो, कितने भी इंटेलिजेंट हो, कितने भी कैपेबल हो, अगर आप दलित हो, आपको दबाया जा सकता है, आपको कुचला जा सकता है, आपको फेंका जा सकता है, और ये हमारे लिए एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है।
Well, Rahul Gandhi, of course, insisting that the rot within the police system there in Haryana be uncovered, and that investigation has to get to the bottom of this because there is caste discrimination allegations that's been leveled by Puran Kumar. So, of course, the opposition saying that this kind of caste discrimination is rampant in BJP-ruled states. So the opposition has got enough and more now to fire salvos at the BJP-ruled government in Haryana. And that's what's happening here. In fact, Priyanka Gandhi also took to social platforms, slamming the government there and also asking for a thorough probe. Well, this has certainly become very murky now with ASI Sandeep's alleged suicide. This case has certainly taken a whole new turn, though Rohtak SP, who was in fact with the family of ASI Sandeep, says, speaking to the media, that ASI Sandeep was one of the most honest officers. Here's what he said.
हमारा एक बहुत महकमे का मेहनती एएसआई था संदीप, बहुत ईमानदार और बहुत मेहनती मुलाजिम था। बहुत अभी एक सूचना मिली थी कि उसकी डेड बॉडी मिली है। अभी फॉरेंसिक की टीम बुला रखी है और जांच चल रही है। जो भी हुआ है बहुत दुखद घटना है। बहुत मेहनती मुलाजिम था, हमारा तो परिवार का ही मेंबर था।
All right, there you have it. Investigations now continue. Political leaders calling for accountability. Big question here on what's happening within the Haryana police force. Is there real caste discrimination in Haryana's police force? Imagine within the police department if there are claims like this. I wonder what common citizens are going through. Let me quickly bring in our panelists. Joining us, Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, for a little more insights. We also have Ishan Tyagi, spokesperson of the Congress, and also Raman Malik, senior leader of the BJP. I'll first start with Vikram Singh, as he's an officer himself. He's served extensively in Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Singh, your take. It's tragic to see that police officers are giving up because they are not able to speak against the system. I'm not calling this investigation yet, but at least going by the suicide notes, if it's legitimate, then Puran Kumar says that he was discriminated based on caste. ASI Sandeep says that there's rampant corruption, blaming Puran Kumar. But nonetheless, both officers have similar grievances, that there's corruption, there's discrimination, and they intend to clean up the system, and this is their sacrifice. It's shocking.
Nabila, good evening, and good evening, my fellow esteemed panelists. Yes, you are absolutely right. This is a human tragedy of the worst kind. And I dare say that both are so closely intertwined that both represent two sides of the same coin, and both the allegations need to be investigated expeditiously, impartially, in a transparent manner, and there should be consequences if there is a miscarriage of justice. Any death, whether it is that of Y. Puran Singh or that of the ASI, are tragedies, and I would say that both the tragedies need to be investigated. And my appeal to my politicians, friends, would be that in this moment of tragedy, the horrible fault lines that are seemingly apparent, they need to be addressed with empathy, sympathy, and also with fair play, and also to have a course correction wherever it is required. Expeditious investigation, to cooperate with the investigation, a prompt postmortem, because not to have a prompt postmortem, those who are responsible for delaying the postmortem, obstructing the investigation, would be liable for criminal action. Also, let it be very clear. As also, the deceased laptop also has to be subjected to forensic and cyber scrutiny and investigation. So the earlier it is handed over, the better for the investigation. All of us, every party needs to cooperate. But to that question, that a suicide is horrible and perhaps the last-ditch attempt of the deceased to get justice, not only for himself, but for his family. And these are fault lines. We should not be in any blame game. We should not blame anyone. To the contrary, we should blame not only the system, but I would say that we should have been extremely proactive to see the redressal of grievances. If there is even an iota of substance, which I'm sure there would be in the allegations of both the deceased, they should have been addressed earlier. It is not for the police to wait till the action has happened or the tragedy that has happened. Preemptive action should have happened earlier. There are eminent panelists, and I'm sure they would agree with me that it is the job of the police to be proactive, anticipate, and intervene in time so that such tragedies are averted. Nabila, it will bleed anybody's heart to see both the tragedies. And yes, my appeal to both the families would be to cooperate with the investigation. And for politician friends, please do not make an opportunity in this human tragedy. Thank you.
You know, considering that a cop like Puran Kumar Singh has said that he faced caste-based discrimination, you have the opposition now jumping at it. You're saying don't make this political, but without any pressure, if not from the opposition, do you think that something like this will be taken seriously? Do tell us the struggles within the police force. You've been there, you've done that, you've been a successful officer, sir. Your take on this, is there really caste-based discrimination that happens, and corruption, though, you know, let's not even begin to speak on that. It's in every department, in
Nabila,
every
I'll answer
field.
every question. I'll speak of corruption, I'll speak of caste discrimination, I'll
Yeah.
speak of criminal discrimination.
Yeah.
If I were to say nothing like this, I would be absolutely a compulsive liar,
Yeah.
or perhaps living in a fool's paradise. Of course, there is corruption, and corruption of a type I would refuse to believe. Now, the second part, is there communal differences? Is there the caste politics also to a minimal level? If I were to say in a scale of 1:100, 99.9 point officers are above board, and there is no, because uniform itself presupposes that everybody is an equal and everybody belongs to everyone. We do not have a system. We have the scheduled caste running our temples, doing the puja, running our messes. But I said 99.9%. Even if there's a microscopic percentage of 0.01%, even that is a disaster, and this should never happen in a uniformed force, in a disciplined force. It is totally unacceptable to have a caste or a communal bias in any service, much less in a uniformed and a disciplined service like the police. I hope I've answered your question, Nabila ji.
Yes, you know, but that's what's wishful thinking. We hope that these kind of practices aren't in any department, but it happens. But as much as you know, commoners can still raise a case, file a complaint. Who do the police go to when there's a case, when they're grieving within and they're being discriminated against? Is there a way that the police can, you know, fight for themselves? That possibly that's why we see this absolute helplessness. These are people who ensure citizens, commoners are protected, but who protects the police officers?
Nabila, there's an internal grievance redressal system. There's a day in the week, in my case, it was Monday, any person from a constable efforts could see me without taking any prior approval or through proper channel systems. And then the leader of the police is like a father figure, and he's approachable, accessible to all times. But I do hope that the leadership is listening and they're available to them. And I do say that if there was a grievance in the case of Puran Kumar ji, it is said that there were serial cases in which he alleged that there was discrimination. And if there was even an allegation, that should have been examined threadbare, and his feelings should have been assuaged. If his feelings were not assuaged and he was not comforted by the leadership, again, that I see it as a fault line in the internal administration of the police. The police do have a system of addressing all the grievances at all levels. I can see from the shoulder labels that he got the long and meritorious medal also. That goes to show that his ACRs were absolutely perfect. He became an ADG in his time because he's 2001 batch. And if he became an ADG, I believe in good time, he was never superseded. The major penalty would have been had he been superseded. No, I don't think he was superseded. But the fact that a senior officer like him raised serious allegations is also a cause of concern, and that should have been done and redressed in his lifetime, not subsequently investigated after his demise.
So the second alleged suicide today has really shaken us. If I could bring in Raman Malik, senior BJP leader. Mr. Raman, you know, I can't help but ask, is this a reflection of a system that your government is controlling? What kind of probe do you intend to carry out? Because you know, you've got to have an independent probe, maybe a court-monitored probe, because otherwise it's going to be within the system itself. The cops itself investigating dirt within their own system does not sit well.
Would you be comfortable saying the same statement for the judiciary? on the national television? No, I do not think so. Please understand, these people who become IS officers, IPS officers, they should have certain credibility, and we as normal citizens should respect that credibility until and unless they are proven otherwise. I would start by saying this much, that it is shameful that on such an event where two police officers who are responsible for taking care of the law, implementing it, have died in a suicide, in a manner which is regrettable, a suicide. We have people from the political arena who are doing vulture politics. This is regretful and shameful. At the same time, I very strongly believe that there should be a thorough investigation. I've already tweeted this, tagging to the Honorable Chief Minister, that this case should be handed over to the CBI to verify facts. But then we must understand that it is not something new. I remember somewhere in September, a case from Kerala came up where between 2019 and 2024, about 88 young men who were going through the training and all. I believe his name was Anand or something. This boy committed suicide in Kerala. There were multiple other cases like this. And we should not forget this, that where the problem has started. The problem started from the point where a Dalit who was the father figure for creating the constitution in India, was not, and please mind my words, by a Pandit Nehru. He was not, he was stopped from becoming a member parliament.
Member Parliament.
2 times. And that is where the problem lies. When he said it should take about 10 years for the parity to come in, and the parity is still being sought, then it's a serious flaw in the inception of the whole idea. And who was in control, we all know. But let's leave the politics aside, and I would concur with the views of Vikram Singh ji, that this is not a point and time to play politics and use dirty tactics right now. There are two families who are distressed. There's one family who is quite competent. One wife is the IS officer. The brothers are well placed financially. The person who was deceased was an ADGP. But there's also another aspect to it, and that is ASI Sandeep Latra.
Yeah.
He is a poor chap. He has still loans on his head. He has 3 or 4 unmarried sisters. He has children. Now, who is going to look after this person's life, his family? And both of the families have said that they would not like the postmortem to happen. Now, justice is going to be delayed because of all these rigid stands. And I believe evidences would get decayed, would get distorted.
Do you believe supporting an independent investigation then under the judiciary would bring some solace to the family? Would they then believe and trust in the investigation more?
I would definitely. I have supported the call for having a CBI investigation into this, both the allegations, both the events, but not a judicial probe. I have not said that. I think very clearly that this department, the policing department, is something which is very respected also in a lot of areas, because these people are serving at times, without taking a break for 36 hours or 48 hours.
Yeah.
And they've given their body for it, everything for it. So casting aspersions on the uniform may not be a very right approach. But at the same point, if there is a problem, and which is evident here, that there is a problem, and it should be sorted out in a manner which maintains the dignity of the force and the uniform, but at the same point, justice should not be delayed or kept aloof.
Ishan Tyagi of the Congress. Ishan, what's your take on this? Apart from condemning
Nabila.
it, yeah, is there anything more that the Congress wants to say about this institutional crisis? Have you heard of something
And
like
they
this
should
while
not
the
forget
Congress was in
Milchipur.
power? While the Congress was in
Nabila,
power, similar allegations had arisen.
The
Not too
Milchipur,
sure what y'all did to fix the problem then, but clearly it's now exploded to this extent.
Nabila, well, first of all, very good evening to my fellow panelists and all the viewers. I would first request Mr. Raman Malik, because he's spoken his term, I would request him to just quietly listen now and not interrupt me in between again and again, because that's the way he has been doing it. And he just tried. First of all, Nabila, Raman Malik just said that the opposition should not get into a vulture politics. Then he himself blamed Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He implied that it is all because of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru that atrocities on Dalits and SCs are growing in last 11 years of Modi regime. And for last 11 years in Haryana as well, the BJP is in government. One thing
Shame.
is very clear,
Shameful.
Nabila, over here, that the
Shameful.
law and
Very
order
shameful.
situation in Haryana is in
Nabila,
complete
will he be
shambles.
allowed to
Him to complete,
stop
sir.
my
Raman, I will
statement?
Raman
come
Malik,
to
can you
you.
please,
Will he
Allow
be
him to
please
allowed?
have the
complete.
patience to
You
You
got
will
listen?
your
not
time.
Do you
interject
have
him
the
for
I
patience to
distorting
request
my
listen?
you, you got
statements.
your time.
Are
Allow
you
him to
here for
complete.
a
I will
No,
come
will
back
you
to
are
you.
you
not
here
stop
for a
him from
discussion or
distorting
to
my
interrupt
statements?
other leader?
You
Are
can
you
you can
here
allow him
to
to finish and then you can come back. I'll give you that time.
I
Thank
don't
you.
know why Raman Malik has a habit of speaking out of turn again and again, because that's what they try to do. They try to derail the conversation. I mean, that's what the BJP spokesperson are trained for. I'm not sure whether he's an official spokesperson or not of BJP. The first thing, Nabila, is that the law and order situation in Haryana is in complete shambles. That is for sure. Because if certain atrocities on Dalits are happening at a DGP level, ADGP level, then think about what the people on ground, the poor in small cities and small villages are going through in whole of India. And there's no hiding the fact that in the last 1 month, not even 30 days, like not even 30 days, a case happened in Raebareli where a Dalit man was beaten to death by a mob, and the mob said that hum Baba ke aadmi hai. And who is Baba? Baba is Yogi Adityanath, who is the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. Then another incident happened where an unsuccessful attempt was made to hurl a shoe on the Chief Justice of India, Mr. B.R. Gawai, and the whole BJP and right-wing ecosystem tried to justify that act. And it happened on social media. Nobody from the BJP, not even their ministers and their senior leaders, condemned those statements on social media. They should have done it first. The next thing is that why Puran Singh, coming from a Dalit community, and he himself stated in his suicide note, 8 pages, in
Yeah.
his suicide note, that he had to undergo discrimination because he was a Dalit. His leaves were denied. He was denied of leaves. He was denied of accommodation, which he should have gotten. And that has to be investigated. If he is naming a certain person, DGP Shatrujit Kapoor, why was that DGP's name not included in the FIR in the first place? The police should have included that person's name in the FIR, and then only the investigation could have been conducted. It is only when Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition, decided to visit Chandigarh and visit the family of deceased Y. Puran Singh, only then the DGP Kapoor was sent on a leave. He was not even suspended. First of all, he should have been suspended because he's a party to the investigation. He should have been suspended, and only then he should have been sent on a leave. That was not done. So that shows the law and order situation in Haryana. Now coming to the vulture politics. If Raman Malik is saying the opposition is doing vulture politics, then he certainly implies that Mr. Chirag Paswan, who is the minister in the central government and is an ally to the NDA, is again doing vulture politics because he also visited the family of deceased Y. Puran Singh. And he himself stated that the atrocities on Dalits is ever growing in this regime. So is Chirag Paswan also doing vulture politics? That Raman Malik should answer.
Okay.
Now coming to the free and fair investigation. How a free and fair investigation will be conducted? The police, Haryana police, cannot conduct it because it's a conflict of interest. The CBI, because CBI comes under the Home Ministry, and the BJP government is ruling in the center as well. Again, there is a conflict of interest. So, a judicial investigation should be conducted under the supervision of a high court judge or an ex-judge, retired
Okay.
judge. Only then a free and fair investigation can be conducted in both the matters of suicide. I'm not denying the fact that ASI Sandeep latter also committed suicide. A free and fair investigation should be conducted only under the supervision of a high court judge or a retired high court judge. Only a judicial investigation, a time-bound judicial investigation, can solve the matter.
A quick one from our former cop on the panel, Vikram Singh. So, your take on investigation and how this should proceed before I go over to Raman to respond. How do you think an investigation should be carried out in this case?
Nabila, there is merit in the points made by both the illustrious panelists, both Mr. Ishan and Mr. Raman Malik. But I would say that you have to trust your investigators. And to the fact, if we do not trust any investigator, nor the CBI, do you think for a moment we'll be getting our done by the Security Council or the, never, not in a million years. You have to trust the investigators, get an SIT, officers of unimpeachable integrity, a proven track record. I would say that it's the court-monitored investigation, and all these police officers who are investigating are officers of the court, and this will also be scrutinized in the court of law. Therefore, to Mr. Ishan Tyagi's submission, I would say that even the investigation is a part of court work, and they are also officers of the court. Therefore, have faith in your investigators, rather than say that we should only have an investigation conducted by a court-monitored investigation. Thank you.
Word from Raman Malik, your quick rebuttal. I said I'll give you time. Please take your time to say what you have, and also on how are you going to convince the families, both aggrieved families right now who aren't trusting the process of the investigation under your government.
First of all, I must make you remember and your viewers that they must search about what happened in Mirchipur. It is one incident where the Congress and its feudal
Raman
mindset.
Malik, it is not about my incident or your incident. An incident has
Now,
happened.
what are you doing?
2 policemen are dead. No, you were doing the
now,
same
what,
thing.
what is he doing?
I really request the both of
tasting-
you to
you're tasting
allow
your
Raman
medicine,
Malik to
Raman
make his point for the only reason I have 2
When
minutes and
time to make him
I have
taste his
very
own
limited
medicine.
time.
He will not let me do
Raman,
it because that is what shoot and
please go
scoot
on.
is what Congress is doing. Now, Mirchipur has been one situation where they have expressed their desire to kill and their desire to ruin the Dalits. And there have been multiple instances also. But then let's come to this particular matter, and one must not forget that there are 2 sets of deceased in this whole thing. One is a family which is competent because of its reach. The other is a poor family of a farmer. He's a farmer. Latha was a farmer's son. Now today the farmer love is gone out of Congress workbook. Now let's basically come to this fact that the families must cooperate. They must trust the investigation. They must not do any kind of political jingoism on this. It has to be done in a manner which is as per law inscribed, and being IS officers, being IPS officers, being ASI, being police officers only proves that you are the caretaker of the law. You must accept the law and believe in it. And yes, my judiciary, the country's judiciary, still there may be certain people who say system to hamara hai, and there are certain officers of the court, lawyers, in particularly Congress, who thinks that they rule the entire judiciary system. But then they must also not forget that more often than not, the people of this country, the 1.4 billion people, trust the judiciary for giving a free and fair verdict. And that is where the democracy will be alive.
Okay,
That is
but
where
this
the
is a rot
constitution
within
will
the
kick
police
in.
system itself. Two officers have died. Will police itself be able to do justice in investigating this case? As much as we want to show faith, it's a very precarious case here. Final word, Ishan?
Nabila, first of all, the law is the same for both poor and rich and the rich. If Raman Malik is trying to imply that why Puran Singh was from a well-to-do family and his family had a lot of civil servants, serving the nation, that does not mean that the atrocities committed on him or the suicide note that he has written is completely false. A
What
free
about
and
Mr.
fair
Rathra?
investigation should be conducted. That is what the whole BJP and the right-wing
What about
ecosystem is
All
Mr.
right.
trying to
Rathra?
imply, that he comes from a well-to-do family and he
No,
has
no,
money
no.
and he
What
has
about the
friends.
other
That,
person, the
that, that
poor
is what he's
ASI?
trying to imply. Now,
Would you give
of
some words
course,
for poor ASI
there
also?
should be, of course,
Fair
there should
Sir, वो
be,
investigation,
गरीब ASI
keeping
के
in
ऊपर
of
mind
तुम
course, there
both
should
the
be
छोड़ो.
fair
ASI
investigation
and
for
Puran
both
Singh.
diseased ASI Sandeep Lathar and ADGP, diseased ADGP Y Puran Singh. A fair and free and fair investigation should be conducted.
That's it.
That is what I'm
I
trying
think
to
we'll
say.
rest our
I am
case
not
on
trying
that.
to imply like
Free and
Raman
fair
Malik that
investigation. Now,
only
who's
Y
going to be
Puran Singh should
conducting
get
it?
justice and Sandeep Lathar should
We're going
not.
to wait and
That is what
watch.
he's trying to imply.
We will very closely track this story. It's right now developing. I really appreciate Raman Malik, Ishan Tyagi, and former DJP Vikram Singh for joining us with this. Thank you, sir.